Imagine it's the end of April, 1961. You're in Antarctica, at the Novokaine station, a tiny Soviet outpost swallowed by endless ice. It's the dead of winter. The temperature outside has plunged to a bone-chilling minus 60 degrees Celsius. Fierce blizzards make it impossible for any plane to land or take off. You are completely, utterly cut off from the rest of the world. Now, imagine you're the station's only doctor. You're 27 years old, a young surgeon named Leonid Rogozov, and you wake up one morning feeling wrong. A general weakness, a strange nausea, and a sharp stabbing pain in your lower right abdomen. You know the signs. You're a doctor, after all. You take your own temperature. It's soaring towards 40 degrees Celsius. You diagnose yourself. It's not food poisoning. It's not a pulled muscle. It's acute appendicitis. Under normal circumstances, this is a routine, life-saving surgery. But these are not normal circumstances. You are the only doctor for over 1,000 miles. There's no one to operate on you. If the appendix ruptures, it will lead to peritonitis, a massive infection of the abdominal cavity. Without surgery, death is not a possibility. It's a certainty. The clock is ticking. What do? Do you lie down and accept your fate? Do you hope for a miracle that you know won't come? Or do you do the unthinkable? Leonid Rogozov faced this exact nightmare. He knew he had maybe a day or two before his appendix would burst. His options were zero. So he made a decision so audacious, so terrifying, it sounds like something from a horror movie. He decided that if no one else could save him, he would have to save himself. He was going to perform surgery, right here in this isolated polar station. He was going to remove his own appendix. This is the 100% true story of one of the most incredible feats of survival and medical grit ever recorded. The story of the man who literally held his own life in his hands. First, he tried conservative treatments, antibiotics, cold compresses, but his condition only got worse. The pain became unbearable. The fever wouldn't break. By the evening of April 30th, he was vomiting, and he knew he was out of time. He wrote in his diary, "It seems that I have appendicitis. I am keeping quiet about it, even smiling. Why frighten my friends, who could be of help?" But he couldn't hide it for long. He gathered the station's meteorologist and a driver. Neither had any medical training whatsoever. They would be his surgical assistants. Their job: hand him instruments, hold a mirror so he could see what he was doing, and try not to faint. He gave them a crash course: what to do if he lost consciousness, how to inject him with adrenaline, how to perform artificial respiration. He laid out the sterilized instruments: scalpels, forceps, retractors, needle, and thread. Everything had to be perfect. There would be no second chances. At 2 a.m. on May 1st, the operation began. Rogozov was in a semi-reclined position. He couldn't have general anesthesia. He needed to be conscious and in control. His only pain relief was a local anesthetic, novocaine, which he injected directly into his own abdominal wall, layer by layer. He took a deep breath, and then he made the first cut, a 12-centimeter incision into his own stomach. He wrote later, "I worked without gloves. It was hard to see. The mirror helps, but it also hinders after all. It's showing things in reverse." The pain was immense, but the mental strain was even greater. He had to rely entirely on his sense of touch, feeling his way through his own insides. Blood was everywhere, making it slippery and difficult to see. Every few minutes, he had to pause, wipe the sweat from his brow, and fight waves of dizziness and weakness. His assistants stood by, pale and terrified. One of them had to keep turning away to avoid vomiting at the sight. Rogozov sliced through the abdominal wall, and then the peritoneum, the membrane lining the cavity. The moment he opened it, he accidentally nicked his own circumference of the large intestine and had to sew it up immediately, before he could even start looking for the appendix. The mistake rattled him, but he forced himself to stay calm. Panic was a death sentence. He searched for the inflamed appendix with his bare fingers. This was the most dangerous part. He described it as a moment of profound weakness. His hands started to tremble. His heart rate slowed. He felt he was about to pass out. He knew if he fainted now, it would all be over. He rested for just a few seconds, took another deep breath, and pushed on. Finally, he found it. He grasped the appendix with forceps. He wrote in his diary, "With the appendix removed, I noticed the most dangerous moment was past." Looking at the organ he had just pulled from his own body, he saw a dark stain at its base. His diagnosis was correct. If he had waited another day, it would have ruptured. He had gotten to it just in time. He tossed the diseased organ into a tray and began the painstaking process of closing the wound. He administered more antibiotics directly into his abdominal cavity and then began stitching himself up, layer by layer. The entire ordeal, from the first cut to the final stitch, took 1 hour and 45 minutes. An hour and 45 minutes of pure, concentrated hell. When it was over, he was utterly exhausted, but he was alive. Before allowing himself to rest, he made sure all the surgical instruments were cleaned and put away properly. He instructed his assistants on how to wash the room. Only then did he take some sleeping pills and allow himself to pass out. The recovery was just as remarkable. His temperature slowly returned to normal. He continued to give himself antibiotic injections. 5 days after operating on himself in the middle of Antarctica, his stitches were holding and his fever was gone. 7 days after the surgery, he removed the stitches himself. And just 2 weeks after slicing himself open to remove a dying organ, Leonid Rogozov was back on his feet, returning to his regular duties at the station. When the winter finally broke and the sea ice cleared, the relief ship arrived. Leonid Rogozov walked aboard a living legend. He returned to the Soviet Union, a national hero. He was awarded the Order of the Red Banner of Labor, one of the country's highest civilian honors. The photos taken during the surgery became famous worldwide, a stark, visceral testament to human endurance. Think about the sheer mental fortitude required, the knowledge, the skill, the unimaginable courage, to lie there, slicing into your own body, navigating your own organs with a mirror, all while fighting off excruciating pain and the urge to pass out. It's a story that blurs the line between reality and fiction. It's a testament to the power of the human will to survive against absolutely impossible odds. Leonid Rogozov didn't just have a medical problem. He stared death in the face and said, "Not today." He used his own 2 hands, his own mind, and his own unbreakable spirit to save his own life. It's one of the most insane and inspiring true stories you will ever hear. What do you think? Could you ever imagine doing something like this? Let me know in the comments below what part of this story just completely blew your mind. If you found this story as incredible as I did, do me a favor and hit that like button, and subscribe for more unbelievable true stories from history. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.